Well, I've been working on this wing some more. Of course, yesterday I put this leading edges on, had it flipped over up, top side up, and I put the top side of the leading edges on. And what I did here is this. Now, this is the right hand wing, and on this inboard leading edge skin, there's a latch that goes in here for the door, upper door half, when it opens up to hold it up. Well, with the new fuselage and the new door on there, that spring-loaded latch didn't work. So I made a bungee cord latch, and I printed out, 3D printed a T that go on the upper door half. So I open it up, I can just reach out and flip that bungee around the little T. I crimped some electrical connections onto the bungee and had it screwed in where the holes were for the catch that was there. Well, that was just sheet metal screws going into this sheet metal, and I didn't really like that. I thought as long as I had this leading edge skin off, I'd do something a little different. So I made a doubler in there. I put another patch inside of there, and I riveted on some nut plates, some number 6 nut plates in there, and then I riveted that patch onto this leading edge skin, and then we got that put in there. My son helped me flip the wing over, and then I went ahead and finished screwing it all down. Well, I worked on that till midnight last night. Now today I've been working on some other things. We had this one dent here in this foreskin from hitting a seagull years ago, and I pushed that dent out as much as I could. When I had it off there, I used the body tools and kind of knocked it out and stuff and got it as much as I could. Of course, I couldn't get it all out. So once I got it on here and firmed up where it's not going to be flexing or anything, I started working on it with some body putty, and I've got this filled in pretty nice there. That's pretty smooth. Now this is bottom side up. We need to flip the wing back over again, check the top side of it, maybe do some additional filling on that, but I'm pretty happy with that. That's going to take that dent out of there pretty good. And then down here on the wing tip, I screwed that up pretty good, trying to get it to fit on there. And maybe that's what happens with those wingtips. Maybe that's why they get all boogered up, is trying to fit them on this wingtip here, and they don't quite fit on the wingtip bow or something. I don't know, but that's kind of what happened here. I got the top of it in and buttoned down and everything. When we turned it over, this bottom just didn't fit right. Well, I had to unscrew it and redo it. And anyway, I pulled it in with a strap so that I could get it in tight against the nose rib on this aileron, outboard aileron rib. Anyway, it buckled in here in a few spots, so I've been spending some time using some body putty on that to fill that in. Then we had a pretty good pooch out here where this wingtip leading edge skin meets up with this wingtip bow, so I just filled that in, kind of faired that in with some body putty too, so it didn't look so funky. Well, now, like I said, I need to flip that wing over to work on the other side of it so I can check it out. The wingtip skin, I think, is pretty good. We'll see what it looks like when I get it flipped over, but it's pretty good. Well, the other thing I was doing while the Bondo was drying and stuff is I worked on this wingtip here on the trailing edge. Well, on that other wing, and on the drawings for the wings, this outboard aileron rib comes out. It ends right in here, and then there's a tab that this wingtip screws into, but this cap strip is extended out, and it's meant to fold over this wooden wingtip bow here and be nailed in with a couple of little brads. Well, of course, the one on the other wing was all broken off and stuff and wore out, so I made a little strap to go over the end of it here to hold it on, and that's what I did with this one. I just made a little strap to go on here, goes over the end of the wingtip bow. There's a lot of tension on this wingtip bow to bring it out this way. It's held in here with a bolt on a tab off the end of that rib, but I thought I'd add a little extra to that because there's so much tension on that. So I made this. It's just a thin piece of aluminum there. I wrapped it around the wingtip bow, and then instead of putting it in with PK screws, I used some flush rivets, some little 16th inch pop rivets, top and bottom. On the other one I used PK screws on it, but they just stick up so high up here that they just kind of make a nasty looking mess when you put the cover on there, when you put the fabric on and get it all glued down and everything. This will be a lot better, I think. Now I cut that tip off of there and put a little bit of varnish on it. I've sanded down this wingtip bow again. The varnish on it is still a little green, but I knocked it down and knocked some of the rough stuff off of it. So I'll put another coat of varnish over the top of that, and the wingtip bow will be good. So anyway, right now I'm done working on the bottom side up. I'll wait for my son to get here. He should be here any minute now, and get him to help me flip this wing back over top side up. And then I'll check the top side of it, and I think there's a couple little spots in there that I might want to put a little body putty in. I know that second skin in had a little dent in it, and I straightened it out. I have to look and see whether I need to put some body putty on it to smooth that out or not, and then we'll see how this foreskin looks on the top, whether I need to do any more adjusting to that or not. But that's it for now. I'm happy with the way those skins turned out, that body putty, and I'm real happy with that strap on that wingtip bow. Everything is coming together. We'll get this body putty done. Hopefully I get that done tonight, and then tomorrow I can start painting this. I went over the bottom side here with the bottom side up. I went over the leading edge skins with some 220 sandpaper to kind of put some tooth in that primer, so that the new paint primer that goes on there will have a bonding on it. And I did the same thing on the false bar here, on the bottom side of the false bar and the face of the false bars there. Run over them with a little bit of 220 sandpaper. So we'll do the same thing on the top of the leading edge skins when we get it flipped over, and the top of the false bars. Anyway, can't do much about that till I get some help to flip that wing over. Well, that about does that. I had my son help me flip the wing over when he came back by here, and then I've come along and looked for all the little dings and stuff that I could find that were noticeable. This is the one where it had a bend in it, kink in it here, that I straightened out. Of course, it leaves a little bit of a mess there after straightening out. I put a little body putty on that. Found one little spot there that was still showing where this seagull had hit, where I patched it up from the bottom and got it spread out in there, so that's pretty smooth along there. Had a little bit of body putty here on this end on the top that I cleaned up, and then I faired that out into that wingtip bow, so that'll make a nice smooth transition from that wingtip into the wingtip bow going around the wingtip. I sanded down the wingtip bow again, and then put another coat of varnish on it. That thing looks like furniture now. That's too beautiful to cover up. Anyway, that all looks pretty good. I took the body putty and filled in these holes down here where the screws go in, every place that I countersunk the holes in there and stuff. Filled those all in so I don't have to put tape or anything over those to cover those up. Whoever takes that apart will probably have a heck of a time and cuss at me for covering those screw holes up, but I won't be around to worry about it. So, well, we've got another one of these anchors here, hurricane tie downs. I just set it in there. I haven't got that installed yet. I still need to do that, but I'll do that before I cover it, but after I get it painted. Oh, tomorrow I'll get that masking paper out that I had out before and mask this off on the top. I'm not going to do too good of a job because I'm not too worried about overspray on there, but I want to make sure get some of this stuff coated with that 2-part epoxy. So the fabric is going to come in over here. This is the rib on the outboard end of the fuel tank bay, and the fabric will end there. It's got to wrap around that rib on the top side of it and be glued to it, and then it's got to be glued. Well, I'll have an end piece in here on this rib, so fabric will come up over the top of this and be glued to the bottom of it, and then of course we'll have the bottom fabric will come up on this back side over here. Otherwise it's pretty straightforward. Hopefully I can get that all painted tomorrow. Paint one side of it and let it cure up, and then I'll have to flip it over and paint the bottom side of it. Maybe I'll flip it over and do the bottom side first. Anyway, that looks pretty good. We've got to make sure and get the glue-proof primer on this leading edge here from the center of the leading edge up, because that's where my seam's going to be, is on the top side of that leading edge. And then on the back, on the cove portion of the false bars, that's where the seam will be on that, on the fabric. Well, anyway, I'm tired. I'm going to button this up now and come back up here tomorrow and see if we can't get ready to paint. I cleaned up in here, mixed the paint up, dropped down my curtains again, got everything all set up and sprayed the first coat. Well, it's going to be the only coat on the bottom side of that. I took the air hose and blew the basement out using my suction fan to suck all the dust and stuff out the door. Cleaned everything up, dropped the curtains down, mixed the paint up, washed this surfaces here on this wing again, and then sprayed a coat of primer on it. It looks so good I can't hardly believe I did it myself. Anyway, I'm happy with that on the bottom side. Now I'll let that stuff set up and turn the wing over and do the top side. I was worried about it setting up enough to set on the painted surfaces before I turned it over, but I don't have to do that because I've got everything set up so the wing is resting on the ribs here. Anyway, I'll get that flipped over later once it dries out a little bit more, pull the masking off of it and stuff and turn it over and get it. You like that? Get that top side painted up. Alright, that's enough now. Judy's brought me some kind of present. It started snowing here a couple 3 hours ago. We got about 3-4 inches of snow out there now. We got some snow I think 3 days ago, and then it warmed up and kind of rained, and it got cold at night and froze, and then it warmed up in the daytime and rained some more, and almost all that snow was gone. But now it's starting to snow again. The ground's not froze up right now either. I don't know how much snow we're going to get. Forecast says it's supposed to, well, maybe get snow Thursday, and then it's supposed to clear off and get down cold again, down to 9-10 degrees, maybe even 6 degrees, something like that. I don't know. Today's Tuesday, January 28th. I just got that wing finished, the primer finished on it. Did the bottom side of it earlier today, this morning, and then I had to wait all day until my son come out this evening to take the dogs out. Got him to help me turn it over, and I just got done painting it now. Mixed up the paint this morning. I wasn't sure I was going to have enough, but I had just exactly enough. I got a pretty good coat of paint on the bottom side. This side here has a lot more surface area because this top of the leading edge is a lot longer than the bottom of the leading edge. But I went over it and got it all coated and went over the top part of the false spars there. But anyway, I was able to get it all coated real nice, and I started coming back down here to put just a little bit more on the leading edge when I run out of paint. So it's got a nice heavy coat on it. So now there's nothing I can do with this for 7 days. It says 7 days before this is ready to start taking glue on it. But that's going to be just fine because Judy and I are leaving on Thursday to go south to Florida for, we're going to be gone at about a month, I think. Haven't figured out exactly how long yet because until she gets in to see the doctor about the skin cancer on her face, and we don't know what kind of treatment that's going to take or anything like that. So until we know for sure what's going on there, we don't know how long we're going to be gone. But that's going to be plenty of time for this to set up, and I should be back in time to get the fabric on this and get it all ready to go and finished for flying in April, hopefully. It shouldn't take very long now. Once we get back, we'll be able to get right on this and start putting the fabric on it, get it painted, and get it on the airplane. So that's enough for tonight. It's 7:15, and this is the earliest I've got done for ages up here. I'm usually up here till midnight or thereabouts, so yeah, I'm happy. Everything looking good. All right, that's it for a while now. There's nothing I can do more on this now anyway until I guess start putting the fabric on, and I can't do that for at least 7 days. So tomorrow was Wednesday. We'll have the day off, ready to pack and everything, although it doesn't take me much to pack. And then Thursday afternoon we leave, get to Seattle Thursday night, spend the night there, and then leave for Florida on Friday, and we get down there about midnight. So anyway, everybody's all excited about that, and just talked to my son. It was his birthday today, and the daughter-in-law and the kids, and they're all excited for us to come. So we're leaving tomorrow for a while. I'm all done with that wing. So I had my son and my wife help me move it over and in out of the way so that there's more room in and out of here. My son's going to stay here while we're gone to keep an eye on the place and feed Judy's chickens and stuff. So this will make a little more room for him to get in and out of the shower. I've been straightening up a few other things. I just cleaned up the staves and stuff that I had for the wingtip bow and my steam bending gear. I'll get my paint stuff cleaned up and put away. We had about 3.5 inches of snow overnight, and it warmed up and rained on it, and then it froze, and then it snowballed, and now it's freezing again. So I got the Bobcat out and plowed the driveway out and got it down pretty close to bare ground. I actually scraped up a little bit of bare ground because the ground is soft underneath. The forecast says you're going to get a little bit of snow tonight and tomorrow, and then it's actually clearing up out there. The forecast says it's going to be cold here, down to 6 degrees for the next week or so. So get that snow cleaned up so my son doesn't have to fight with it while he's here by himself, and get it down the driveway so it's not pure ice on top of it. So anyway, I just got done with that. I got a few other things to do here to get ready, and I guess I better go pack and get ready to go. We're not leaving until afternoon tomorrow. Anyway, I got things I can still putter around doing, and I'm pretty much done with the wing for now. The paint's on it. It's dry to the touch now, but it still says a minimum of 7 days before you start putting the glue to it and stuff, the finished stuff on it, so no point getting excited about that. I think the only thing left I've got to do is to fit that Atlee Dodge tie-down bracket into the forward wing spar there. I think I might go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're all done for a while.